Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Michael, which is brought to you for information and educational purposes only. If you have a financial question, feel free to reach out to us and we can find out your personal goals to find out more about you. But let's go share a screen. First, take a look at the S&P map. Tech is mostly down. Tesla is up. A good shot. Crowd, cyber software is up, and we got a kind of strong and consumer defensive, which is kind of negative for the market. Real estate, energy is a mixed bag. So there you kind of have it down there. UPS is up slightly. Railroads are up. Farms, Caterpillar and John Deere are up. So let's a look at that. And then we go to, see if we can locate it, our annuity screen. I'd like to share this because annuities beat indexes, which everybody's been proclaiming. Indexes should be the king because of low expenses. Well, annuities beat them by about 5%. Reason for this is they give you a big bonus for signing up, and they do not decline when the market goes down, much like indexes do. When they step up, they stay up on the step. They keep climbing. They do not go down, and they let most people sleep better at night. So that's our look at annuities. And now let's go to what's happening in the markets today. The Fed, it came out a little bit more hawkish today. They don't, people are hoping for a rate cut next year, and they kind of douse that flame. So we'll just have to wait and see. Ford, ticker, let me share the screen. I was looking at Kava Group, which we talked about before with the breakout, and I told everybody when it came down to 52, you should sell because most IPO bases fail while they're going through the due diligence. And look at this, it's down to 31.32 right now. But let's take a look at Ford. Ford is slightly down, reached a last-minute deal to avoid a walkout at the Canadian operations late on Tuesday as the United Auto Workers Union prepared for a potential expansion of its U.S. strikes against the Detroit 3 automakers. newsFor, which represents about 5,600 Canadian auto workers, were threatening to go on strike at all of 3 Ford's plants if the deal wasn't reached. Coty, COTY is a ticker symbol, guides 2024 adjusted EBITDA 1.08 billion to 1.09 billion, above prior 1.07 to 1.08, and the stock gapped up, but it closed on its low today, so it's modestly positive. We had a weird double bottom here, cleared the W, and then it sold off again, so it's consolidating, and we'll just have to keep our eye on that. And Steelcase, SCS, Q2 revs 854.6 million versus estimate 828, and everybody loved that one. Makes office furniture, storage, lighting, and work tools under the name Steelcase, Design Tex, and Calalis brands. And look at that volume, huge volume. And their earnings were up 48%, a 58% earnings surprise. Don't you wish you were on that one? Wingstop upgraded to outperform from neutral at Wedbush. We got a gap up on kind of mediocre volume, but it's hard to tell because we're not at the close for the day. But it's good for Wingstop. Wingstop has been trending good in the restaurant area, but restaurants have been kind of falling out of favor a little bit. American Petroleum Institute, let's take a look at oil pricing. I believe this was still yesterday. Well, let's say it's today. Said weekly crude inventories fell 5.25 million barrels. Gasoline stockpiles rose 732,000 barrels, and distillates fell 258,000 barrels. Okay, go on to Permian Resources, 21.45 shares spot, secondary priced at $13.95, and nobody really likes secondaries because it dilutes their holdings, and it's been on a downtrend and it's continuing down. Textron is moving today, gap up, and remains at the height of its move. Today, NetJets announced a fleet agreement for the option of NetJets to purchase up to 1,500 additional Cessna Citation business jets over the next 15 years. Fixed wing, tilt, rotor aircraft fuel systems. So pretty huge volume on that. So it looks like a lot of professional investors like that. On to financials, JP Morgan raises a quarterly dividend from $1.05 to $1.05 from $1 per share. Just slight interest in that. Eastern Bank Corp is merging with Cambridge Bank Corp. Investors did not like that. Gap down. It's trying to recover. You know, this was an all stock offering, but investors really loved it for Cambridge Bank Corp. It's up 26%, massive volume. I guess it's really not showing on this chart. Let's go over to the 5 minutes, see what we can see. Yeah, we can see the gap up over here, and it just continues trending higher. ARS pharmaceutical shares. Wow, down 55%. How'd you like to wake up to that? No, thank you. Tumbled after saying the FDA issued a complete response letter regarding the new drug application for epinephrine nasal spray. Neffy, I guess it is. In the CRL, the FDA requested completion of a study assessing repeat doses of Neffy. ALVO, Alvotech said the Fed has accepted its resubmitted biologics license application for AVT02. And not much, at least it's not down 55%. And Taysha Gene Therapies said it will discontinue development of its TSHA 120 program to treat giant axonal neuropathy after receiving feedback from the US FDA. Initially, it was down quite a bit, but it's trying to bounce back on this news. Finally, in technology, media, and telecom. I'll look at that. IPO, and it was priced at 30, above the 27 to 29. The open, it gapped up to 39.37 and is sold off pretty strong here. That's not such a good sign. I was trying to look at in card. Instacart. Wonder why that's not coming up. We'll have to go back to that in a moment. Pinterest upgraded to buy from hold at Citigroup and raised the price to 36. It's currently trading at 27.59. It got a good move. Got a good move yesterday, and it continues. MSG Entertainment, 7.15 share secondary. Nobody really likes that. It sold off slightly, but holding up. Skillsoft announced that its board of directors have approved a 1-for-20 stock split. Reverse stock split, actually. Get their prices above where they are. They're probably in danger of being delisted. And they provide AI-based learning, but that hasn't helped the stock at all. China announced accused the U.S. of infiltrating Huawei Technologies servers beginning in 2009, part of a broad-based effort to steal data that culminated in tens of thousands of cyber attacks against Chinese targets last year, according to Bloomberg. And let's see if we can find out more information about Instacart. See if it's in this news item here. We'll try to pull that up. It came out at 18, and I know it had hit as high as 30. Well, I can't find it right now, but we'll come back to it. So on the ETF front, let's kind of take a look. Financials, looks like they're trying to build a cup with a handle. It's kind of tight action right over here. So we'll see if that comes through. Energy is down based on the US oil being down. Biotech continues sell off. I think the interest rates increases in the bonds are affecting them as well. And here's the other biotech ETF. Yeah, it's down under all of its major moving averages. Infrastructure spending, not doing too much here. It's trending down. Look at building materials. They're kind of selling off as well. Mining is getting a little bit of a bid today, kind of a low volume. And our housing stocks are trying to move up, but kind of sold off. Let's take a look at the dollar. Dollar sold off, but has come back very strong today. Volume was up a little bit. Let's look at gold, see its effect on gold. Interesting, gold is popping up here a little bit. Maybe as an inflation hedge, people are finally turning to gold. So we'll just have to wait and see if it can get above. Not sure what's going on with my chart here, but we need to, I guess if you draw this line over the declining tops, it looks like it's trying to break out, but we need to have some confirmation. It is pretty good volume on that. Silver, it's catching a bid too with the dollar being pretty strong. That's pretty interesting. Take a look at our mining area. Copper, it's down slightly. It tried to bounce up, but it's pretty flat for the day. It's declining 10-day moving average. It hit that line and retreated. Southern Copper did about the same thing. FCX, pretty much the same thing. Didn't get up to its moving averages, but these silver and copper are used quite often in the building of electric vehicle batteries. So this is why we also keep a close eye on them. Bond yields pull back slightly, 0.64. So maybe we'll get a little healing in our indexes. We'll take a look at in a second. But as you can see, is broken out of this long consolidation, this channel. Relative strength is moving higher. This is a danger sign for the stock market with yields being this high. So here's our 20-year. It's pulling back a little bit. Looks like it tried to bounce off the 10-day moving average, down a bit more than the 10-year, down 1.66% at 3.55 interest. So that's a look at that. And let's go to the VIX. He said once a gap happens, it's 100% chance that that gap will fill on the VIX, which it has over here. And it has over here. We just can't tell you when it will fill, but it will eventually fill. This gap is filled over here. We think is going to go higher. It tried to go up a little bit, sold off in the beginning, and see if it's coming back. S&P 500 selling off slightly, but the yield still strong. The equal weight actually looks a little better than the S&P 500 with the heavy hitters pulling most of the weight. We didn't look at SMH earlier in the ETFs, and SMH is pretty flat. So look at the NASDAQ, still pretty weak. See, once they fall under their 50-day moving averages, we really need to watch that out. We had huge volume on Friday. Now we want to see weak volume on a retreat, but still not good when it's below all the moving averages. IWM looks a lot sicker. Did try to bounce today, but then it sold off and now it's back in negative territory. Hit its 200-day moving average and retreated. And the Dow Jones, it's kind of hanging in there. It looks okay, but it has been a laggard for a while now. And let's take a look. It's trending. That TXT, Textron in the aerospace is 141% increased volume. A lot of professional money managers moving into this, up over 6%. Mobley, electric semiconductor, when the semiconductors are selling off, got a big move today. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 huge volume buying days here. I think it's so risky with the current environment and the seasonal pattern we're in, but there you have it. BSX, Boston Scientific, tried to move up, had some pretty good volume, but then it sold off to close on its low. It did gap up this morning, so we'll just have to continue watching that. NVO, which Novo Nordisk said is continually in the news, continually getting buying. Had a lot of selling here, but some of the selling actually is what we like to call a pink rally day. It sold off in the beginning, and people were buying the rest of the day to have it close at its top. Earning relative strength according to the S&P 500, outperforming 95% of all the other stocks. Here's I believe this is a earning, the green line. I'll have to double check on that and get back to you, but this is trending higher. And Procore Technologies, cloud-based software. Interesting. I did not look at our software. Since we're here, let's look at technology selling off. Our software sector is actually performing pretty strong. It's up 0.08, and XLC, where Google and Facebook are, it's just holding steady there. Meta is just hanging out at the 300 line here, which It's not going down, and I guess that's pretty good. Google has moved up, but big sell-off today. Good news is it's light volume. And let's go back. Goosehead, recent IPO, and we got some. Look at all these high volume, a lot of buying over here. Another bar of buying. Whenever there was selling, it was much lower than the buying volume, which is a positive sign. And got good volume again today. And look at this breakout. And what is trending down? Cellulose Holdings really dropping hard today. Not sure what news there is, but big sell-off there. Elf had a big sell-off yesterday, continues down today, over 4%. This has been a leader in cosmetics. As we can see, went from right around 41, 42, all the way to 140, and now is sold off strong. So it may need to gather some more momentum. WRK, Westrock, manufactured corrugated and consumer packaging, a big sell-off today. We'll just have to, it's trying to break out, but their earnings are falling. Not sure why, what people are looking at there. Dava software got hit like 3% today. A UK software engineering cloud transformation. It's trying to pick up here, trying to get a bottoming base. It has been a good winner in the past, so it's worth looking back on. Warner Music, wow, look at that big drop. 7% down, huge volume. 2 out of the last 5 days. I think the end is over for some time now. And Chef Warehouse, huge sell-off yesterday, continues today. Huge volume, doesn't look good there. So let's see. That's what we're going to look at for today. Let's take a. We did look at Kava. Danger of holding an IPO base too long is not only do you lose your profit, you lose, become a loser in the investment game. So it's always good to take your profits when you have them, especially in an IPO base. We don't know when this will get support, but we'll keep watching it. I think long term has opportunities, but it's best not to invest in something unless professional money managers are going to support it. And take a look at BLTE. I did take some profits yesterday. I think it was 22%. And still remaining above the 30-day line. We'll see if it can get some buying action over here to get maybe start making a right side of a pattern here. It's built to the left side and it's pulling back. Pretty low volume on the sales, which is good. The other one we had looked at is just going nowhere fast. We saw over here a pretty tight action, said it's going to resolve itself one way or the other, and it's resolved itself down. And take a look at Uber. It's building a cup with a handle. Had an odd shaped base here. It came out of and trended much higher when it reported its earnings, up 114%. And we'll just see if it can get the volume and buying over here. How does Lyft look? Lyft had a little sell-off. It's got an uglier pattern here. Had one attempt to go up, two attempts to go up. Maybe it needs the third attempt to go up after reaching this area. Most stocks need to try at least 3 times before they are successful. And this is kind of education section for today. There was one other thing I just wanted to share. So these are the top tech yields in the S&P 500. First, we'll take a look. IBM is at, IBM's actually up quite a bit today, got some good buying. Their yield is 4.6%. Seagate Technology gapping up today as well. They have 4.4% yield. HP, which Warren Buffett just sold, I believe, it's up slightly today. Their dividend is 3.8%. Corning, big sell-off today. Danger of buying for yield is if you lose more money than you make on the yield, it doesn't make sense. But Corning, 3.5%. Juniper Networks, dividend is 3.1%. Texas Instruments in the semiconductor space, trending down. How far she goes, nobody knows. Is 3%. Qualcomm is at 2.8%. Below all of its moving averages, never a good thing. Hewlett Packard Enterprises looks a lot better than Hewlett Packard. They have a dividend of 2.8%. Cisco, it's trending down here after a big strong move. They have 2.8% as well. Skyworks, also in semiconductors, it's trend down. Big sell-off here, gap down. They're at 2.8%. Gen Digital, they're at 2.6%. Got a little bit of a move today, but they're significantly down. I guess it would be worth continuing to watch this one as it has come up quite a bit here. And the last one is NetApp, also at 2.6%. This one, it doesn't look too bad. We'll just have to wait and see if it can get back up above its moving averages. 11% growth for 2025. And that's our show for today. This has been Mornings with Michael for information, educational purposes. If you have a question, feel free to reach out to us. In the meantime, everybody keep going after their activities to meet your goals. If you have any questions on your financial goals, we'll be here to assist you. In the meantime, everyone have a great day. Go out there and make everybody smile. It's a good thing to do, and we'll catch up with you on Thursday.